Hi, I wanted to tell you a story about depression and sadness and the outcomes because I find that that's more interesting than just talking about depression in general. So, summer of 1987, I'm going to Northwestern Theater Camp. Northwestern Theater Camp, if you don't know it, it's the Cherubs. It's been around since 1931. It's a kind of a famous camp that you go to. So I helped put in a port for my social studies teacher. I asked the head of a company to give me some money, and she gave me $500 for the camp. So I was actually able to go, and I had a grant, and I was like doing all this stuff. So I went to Northwestern Theater Camp, and I did badly there because I was really depressed. But I was a cherub. I was part of that group, this kind of elite group. I was really depressed because my alcoholic girlfriend, I didn't know she was an alcoholic until later, had left me for the army. I didn't even know if this is her. This could be her. I don't know. My teacher at Northwestern Theater Camp was Peter Hedges. Peter Hedges talked a lot about suicide. He was in his 20s. He was deeply depressed about life. He said, I mean, a few people left. What else is there? I might just go anytime. So he was really kind of an interesting person to work with. He was my mentor. He didn't care about a lot of stuff because he was really depressed. So I actually looked him up. This is a few months ago, and I wanted to know if he'd actually committed suicide because you can actually tend to tell these things, and I wanted to see what happened with his life. So remember, he was kind of accomplished in a small way. When he was at Northwestern, he'd actually gotten there. He'd done a few plays, but nothing. He had really done nothing with his life, and in his mind, that was all that there was possible for him to do. He didn't die. It turns out he has a very interesting story, and let's talk about it. So Peter Hedges left Northwestern Theater Camp, and he went off and he wrote another book. He wrote a book called "What's Eating Gilbert Grape," and then he wrote a screenplay based on that book called "What's Eating Gilbert Grape." And you're like, oh, well, that's interesting. But if you know this book and this story, you realize something else. It became a big movie, and I want you to look at that gentleman on the right there. Is that Who is that? It turns out that that movie started the careers of both Johnny Depp and that other guy, I don't remember his name. So the point is that these two guys got their start in a story created by Peter Hedges, who was my teacher, who was deeply depressed, and who never thought his life would amount to anything. And yet, you notice he himself, you don't even know Peter Hedges, do you? But you know the people that he helped along the way. And that's really the point of life, is that you're not necessarily going to be the most famous person in your life, but you can help those people who are really going to make a difference. This is his son. This is his son with Julia Roberts. So he's actually creating a book. Um, his most recent work is going to be based on his own experiences with addicts. So I'm really happy that he decided to stay alive. I'm really happy that he has had a successful life. And I wanted to tell this story because it's true and it just kind of fell into my lap. And because I want you to understand that your life has not yet started. You have yet to express the brilliance that is you. You have yet to put that out into the world. And you may not be the most famous person in your life, but you may make the people around you famous, happy, loved, and functional. So please keep that in mind. Thanks for listening.